It had been almost 24 hours since Kira drank the vial. One sip. She hadn't even hesitated. Tarazi had already been halfway through his and it hadn't made him much more than hungry. Alwyn looked fine. Normal, even. The smell was already starting to fade. And Brixby was different now. Lucky for him. Kira just didn't want to be left behind. Not by them. Not by anyone. She didn't think it would do anything. Not really. Maybe she'd glow, maybe see some weird colors or feel a little lighter. What she hadn't expected, what no one had expected, was the sudden lurch forward in time. Her bones stretched, her joints ached, and her heartbeat shifted into some new, unfamiliar rhythm. And in the span of 10 seconds, maybe less, 15 years of life gave way to 28. Childhood evaporated. Gone. Just gone. And now, a day later, it still hadn't worn off. She kept pretending it might. That maybe this was just part of the effect. Maybe she'd sleep and wake up feeling like herself again. But morning came, and the stranger in the mirror was still there, staring back at her with two familiar eyes. Her mother's eyes. Not the one who raised her, the other one. The one she'd never met. The worst part wasn't the body. It wasn't the aching muscles or the too long limbs or the unfamiliar voice. It was the disconnect. The feeling of wrongness, like she'd been thrown into someone else's skin and expected to keep walking like nothing had ever happened. But something had happened. And now her body moved wrong. Her voice startled her every time she spoke. Her clothes didn't fit. Her center of gravity was different. Every step reminded her that something was broken now, just slightly out of sync. The others hadn't said much. Maybe they didn't know what to say. Or maybe they didn't notice just how off she felt. Or maybe they thought this was what she wanted. To be older, stronger, more useful. She didn't even know anymore. Was this what she wanted? She used to imagine what she might look like at 28. But that version of herself had always had time to get there, to grow, to make mistakes, to earn the years. This wasn't growth. This was theft. She thought about her mother, the one who raised her, who called her baby girl and taught her how to braid her hair and sharpen a blade. What would she say now if Kira came home? Would she see her daughter or a stranger with a familiar voice? And what about the other one? The woman who had given her life and a name and shadows of memory? Would she recognize Kira now? Would she see any of herself in this too old face? Probably not. Kira kept it all inside, pushed it down deep where the fight lived, because she had to. There wasn't time to fall apart, not out here, not in this place. There were worse things than last time waiting for them in the dark, and the machine didn't care how old she looked. It would chew her up all the same. She doesn't know who she is anymore. But the world isn't going to wait for her to figure it out. This is Pot Against the Machine.
Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that ages 13 years every time we party. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
That can't be the only podcast. I feel I age 13 years every time I party.
When people tell me about the good time that they've had last night, I feel old. I have sympathy hangovers at this point.
Sympathy old.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I
Last week on the program, and I remember again because we should really just keep recording every 4 days or so, and then I'll actually know what happened. But last week on the program, the party, fresh from killing Doc Hellbroth, decided to split up. Brixby and Tarazi decided to double back in disguise / invisible to check out what the Technical was doing at Hellbroth's after they'd been alerted. And Alwyn and Kira went through Hellbroth's stuff. Found all sorts of money, lots of potions, some drugs, a non-trivial amount of drugs. and just some cool technological items, while Tarazi and Brixby saw a Technicleague agent that was a strange-looking bald woman in robes commanding a group of sort of irregular soldiers as they went through the Red Reaver, took out all the patrons, and they seemed to take Shori away. And after that, I think Brixby and Tarazi did pick up a spell or two, did a little shopping, checked out the adjective noun, which seemed to be undisturbed so far, and then came back. At which point the party decided to call it a night, and by call it a night, I mean decided to hang out and do Numerian fluids. And everything was going fine for a little while. Tarazi started regenerating, but he got really hungry. Alwyn started smelling really bad, which, was kind of par for the course after book 4. And then Kira did a dose of Numerian fluids and immediately aged 13 years. At the time, they didn't think too much of it because, everybody's having fun. Brixby chose to abstain after his recent close encounter with Numerian fluids enthusiast / the ghost of Numerian fluids enthusiast, Sanville Tret. And then everybody went to bed. The next day, which is when the actual shopping occurred, the party mostly laid low because Alwyn stunk so bad. They thought they wouldn't really be able to sneak around too well. But they worked on getting some better disguises because their previous disguises had been blown up by Hellbroth when he called the Technicleague. And they waited for the night market. And when night fell, everybody journeyed to said night market. And that's where we are now, at the night market, which is a sort of city square hemmed in by buildings on every side that is not teeming with people, but there's a decent crowd here. There's a bunch of vendors that have set up stalls all along the sides of this square. And in the center, there is an octagonal gazebo with several entrances that appears to have armed guards. And, that's where we are now.
And we all look different than we did before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Why don't we remind the people at home what everybody looks like right now? Because I might not remember that detail.
I'm pretty sure Kira looks like Kira, just 13 years older, which we maybe decided was fine because they're going to be looking for a teenager.
A teenage human.
So, a teenage human, right? Not a middle-aged half-orc. Dang.
Alwyn looks like Alwyn, but his robe is red and his hair is black.
Oh, yes. Evil Alwyn.
Brixby is a ASMR, thanks to Alwyn's hair, but is a brown-haired ASMR. Was initially thinking about going blonde, and then the whole blonde spellcaster thing. So, brown-haired ASMR, cool eyes, like the bald lady.
Nice. Tarazi had only been disguised in your imagination, but I will speak his disguise into existence as he looks like a portly, tawny, about 4'9" catfolk.
Aww.
Nice.
The opposite of a snake is a cat. It's canonical.
Makes sense.
Do they have a name in Pathfinder? I know Forgotten Realms it's Tabaxi, but did Pathfinder ever give them a name, or are they just catfolk?
In 2e, they became the Amaroon, but in 1e, they're just catfolk.
Catfolk.
Before we get too far into things here, could everybody just roll me a D100? This is something I forgot to do when you woke up this morning.
Guarantee it'll be all over 50 now that we don't need it to be under. Or we need it to... whatever. Words are hard.
Now, what did Brixby get?
79.
All right, don't worry about it. How about Alwyn?
Alwyn got a 68.
All right, and how about Tarazi?
What more appropriate number between 1 and 100 could there be than 27?
Interesting. Number of dresses that I don't remember the rest of the phrase. And and of course, Kira.
Kira got a 10.
A 10. Interesting.
Why did you make that face?
I'm interested
What
in
else can you take from me?
in that. Could Kira just make a quick fortitude
Your
save?
age is another 13 years.
A wisdom save, you said?
Fortitude.
4. Oh, okay.
That's good. I don't think Kira can fail those. Like, just in general.
Fort save, non-raging is pretty high. Say 28.
All right, you're fine. Don't worry about anything. All right, we can continue now.
Question about these gazebros. Are they also like Kellet irregulars? Did I miss their description? No, they're like masked.
The tokens
figures.
are masked, but they're more like uniformed, like they're all wearing the same kind of outfit sort of thing. I don't think they're really masked. That's just token goodness for you. They appear to be, Khalids, but it's hard to tell any specific affiliation. They're not really wearing recognizable insignias.
Okay.
Wonder if they're like guards for that one that's coming to try to sell his stuff.
The Baron.
Duke, somewhere in my notes, Duke.
Yeah. I
That Duke.
believe he refers to himself as a Baron.
Oh, Baron, not Duke, yeah.
Just before we... Sorry, wait. I don't know what my ASMR voice is. It's probably like lilting. Before we head out, I should do this. And Brixby's going to crush 2 different eggshells in his hands, but otherwise use sneaky spells to do this silent and still, and cast telepathic bond between us. That'll last for 140 minutes. So now we can all communicate in our heads. Oh yeah, it's so much easier to communicate this way because, man, I don't know how you all do it.
Do
The way you all
what?
sound, it's so funny. It's, I mean, the way everybody else talks, it's hard.
I think Kira goes to the nearest tree, if there are trees here. Are there trees here?
No real trees here.
Oh. Okay, Kira finds a random piece of trash that looks like a walking stick and uses it as a cane and just sort of hobbles along. Ah, it's me, Kira, or Mira. And she will be maybe for the night.
Mira, the
Presumably for
extremely
next several
old
times.
sounding 28-year-old.
It's gonna. Well, to be fair, to a teenager, that is a 28-year-old.
Yes.
Right. So, gotta start heading in. Should we split up and see what we can see, or should we stick together?
Well, there is no range except for traveling to another plane with this form of communication. So we can break off, move as a group. I think we should probably stay as couplets. We want to go shopping, big stuff.
Yes.
We'll get you some socks for those varicose veins.
Compression socks. Just force the veins right back in. I assume that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Write in if you're a veinologist.
Right in. That's my second favorite joke after 27 Dresses.
I know, 27 Dresses is the best.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah, let's see what there is to see. Perhaps. Maybe we'll find something interesting here. We could also gather information, depending on... I know that takes, like, an hour?
D4 hours.
4 hours?
It takes 1 to 4 hours, depending.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a roll for it.
I don't know if that's a good use of our time while we're here.
Gathering information, capital G,
How-
capital I. That was a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
It is. It's. I'm just wanted to make sure gathering information is like a move.
Yeah, it's a,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
like an
diplomacy
actual
thing.
thing you can do.
Got it.
That's
Sorry,
like
my dog
what
was barking.
Alwyn did on our first day in here, and then Sam rolled after, like how long each one took.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Did we get any info on like how long a night market lasts in Starfall? Like, is it like literally like all night, like hours, or do they try to do this quick before like the guard shows up and starts arresting people type thing?
I don't think anyone had specifically told you. I think it's mostly a vibes thing. People come here, they sell stuff while they feel like they can make money. But you know, if it starts to die down, they take off, or if there's trouble, probably people filter out, shut things down, you know.
Think if it would be worth, though. I guess one of us could do the gather info while other people look for like stuff to buy and type that kind of thing.
And I will say,
I'm just worried, like if I roll a 4 and then you're like, oh, and by the way, 2 hours in, Gearsman shows up and breaks the place up.
I will say, like, if you're gathering info, I'm not gonna be like, well, you did that and you missed the whole thing and it's over and that this whole event's gone. Sorry. Like, obviously, you'd be able to tell if things were happening while you're doing that and adjust accordingly.
I think you're the only one with
Next.
diplomacy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Alwyn would say to Tarazi, do you mind if we kind of walk around and talk to people so we can see if we can get any kind of information on the city and what's going on?
Not at all, he says as a catman.
Oh, he's a kitty.
He's a cat man, which gives you a bonus, of course, because everyone loves cats.
Everyone wants to be one of those.
It's true.
Probably.
Everybody.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Even
Oh,
though
everybody. Dang it.
even though it's dogs that go to heaven.
All of them.
We're up to die and knock like 3 things over trying to pick it back up. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to do a gather info. That is a 13 on the die. So with my diplomacy, that is a 29.
All right, why don't you roll me a D100?
Let's hang that back up. Okay, yeah, let's roll a different D100 this time. That is an 87.
Ooh. Why don't you do me a favor and roll another D100?
Oh, that's interesting. That is a 38.
With a 38, you get a sneaky looking person who's like currently flipping through like a stack of key cards, kind of looking for a collectible sort of thing. It just like whispers out of the side of his mouth. He's like, you know, the Black Seers are worshippers of Xiphus. They see every misfire of the guns and every malfunction of technology as a sign of favor from their god. They don't serve the Black Sovereign, or even the technically or really anybody, but they still hang around the palace and the city. It's like they claim ownership of all the glitches and everything that goes wrong all the time.
And he just kind of says this out of the blue, like he's not someone that I was actively talking to.
I don't know. That's the rumor that you got, so it came up. You were like asking
yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe I was asking somebody else something. Like that would be one of the things Alan would ask about would be like the religion in the area.
Yeah. I mean, it would have.
Did you say Black Seekers or Black Seers?
Black Seers.
Seers. Okay. He will file that away.
I mean, there's lots of people just like milling about, and presumably there's lots of more innocuous talk, but not anything super interesting. I don't think to you, nothing really
Yeah.
catching your ear
No.
as
Yeah, the
particularly useful.
Xiphus thing definitely, though, especially after Zhaud, and like there was a lot of Xiphus stuff there. And I guess Alwyn wouldn't know, but even earlier than that, there was the dead body with the Xiphus symbol in the ship.
Yeah,
Yes.
it seems like the
So-
technology kind of attracts him.
Which makes sense with all the glitches and everything.
Yes. 3 out of 5 of us jobs rely on those glitches. That's how we eat. So I understand.
An IT heavy podcast. I think of you guys every time I get in trouble for not installing an update when I'm supposed to.
And that's all we can ask for, really. To just be the looming reminder to reboot.
The specter of shame. That's how I wish to live in your mind.
I actually look like Clippy while I'm at work. It's weird.
When I found out Clippy exists as an emoji on Teams, we use it all the time now. It's like taken over office culture. Oh, they have 2, and they're virtually indistinguishable, but they decided to not like making different expressions, not particularly anything else. It's just a slight bend to one of the paper clips more than the other. Someone got paid to do that. Is there anything like particularly cool for sale here? Like, is this more of a like? This is maybe breaking the immersion to ask, but is this more an environment where it's like free form and it's more likely that I could find technological items, or like that there's a specific set of technological items that are here that we could be, that we're like, ooh, that or that.
Sounds like we should be rolling to thrift.
Or maybe a perception check might be in order to separate the wheat from the chaff here, see if there's anything particularly interesting.
All right, I'm on it.
Man,
Jeff
if only
Chuk.
we had a 30-something who could actually still see very well.
Oh no.
Ugh, that was a terrible. Yeah, no. It was not a good roll. That was a 6 on the die, but that gives me a 35. Nope, sorry.
I was gonna say you have a plus 30 to perception, right?
Minus 3. 32.
Oh, with a 30.
Nope, I lied again. Sorry.
Oh no.
I have a plus 32 to perception. That's 38. 38 total. My bad.
Oh, that's too much, and you can't see the forest for the trees.
You see too hard.
Well, with vision like that, I think you see like a laser sight. I mean, you see all sorts of little technological doodads and bips and bobs. If you have any particular technological items you all want to purchase or sell right now, you could really do it. But there's all sorts of good stuff. You can see some trauma packs, and looks like a gray nanite hypo gun over there, which I think you've already got a better one than that.
We got like a green or a blue, right? Brown? I keep just thinking of karate belts. I like can't not anytime I'm trying to imagine the hierarchy of them.
Yeah, except brown is like the second lowest one on this, and then actual karate brown's like the third highest.
Yeah, it's below black or purple, right?
It's a white. You got a white nanite hypo gun.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, so maybe the time worn gray one is better.
Do we have a white?
We have a white, we have a brown,
Yeah.
but the brown is time worn.
And the white is the nicer one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've had the brown a long time. We got that in 2021.
Whoa, the laser sight is actually pretty sick. Small cylindrical device can be attached to the barrel of any firearm. Puts a little red dot on the target. The effect grants the user a +1 circumstance bonus on all attack rolls made with the weapon and reduces the penalty for firing into melee by 2.
Ooh, nice.
That's pretty neat.
Cut that in half.
Yeah. Still, the fact that it is 8K means I'm not able nor interested in purchasing, but it's fun.
No, you can always beat
Well,
these
so-
people up and steal their stuff.
That is true. But are any
Kira's
of them
good at
drug
one
dealers?
You don't see any drug dealers. There's a conspicuous shortness of drugs, I think.
It's cold broth.
Did we hear anyone complaining about a lack of drugs? Like, is there an explicit shortness of drugs, or is it a conspicuous shortness of drugs?
I think maybe there's a little bit of grumbling, like from your drooly Julie types, who they were looking for just like a little bit of drugs, and they're striking out tonight.
I imagine
Kira
that's
sees
what
the
they're
market
saying.
opportunity. That's it. Let's just get
Now
into
it's the
being drug
time.
dealers.
You do still have some drugs, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we do, honestly.
You can take those fluids from my cold dead hands.
God. I mean, depending on your D20 roll, that is, or D100 roll, that's exactly what we will be doing. I mean that lovingly.
You might not wind up with hands.
Oh no, my warm living pseudopods.
I feel like we're confronted with this problem where like nobody wants to look at like everything that's in the technology guide, so we don't know what to ask for tech. Because I like being surprised every time that there is like, even when there was a fire extinguisher, it kind of made me like delighted. So
The only tech item that I've seen that isn't one we've run into is a railgun, and I doubt they have that here because it was one of the most ridiculous weapons I've ever read about in 1E.
Oh, now I want to see.
Yeah, I don't think you see any railguns around, sadly.
What's remind me of this gazebo. Is it like fully walled off? You can't see inside it situation?
Looks like from the side you're on, you can't see inside it. There are doors on the side that's facing you, but they're currently shut, and there's two like armed fellas standing in front of them.
No windows or anything.
Maybe there's like up high windows that let light in, but they're too high up to see. Were you over where Brixby and Kira were, you could see that there's a set of doors on another side that are open. So.
is anyone going in and out of the gazebo?
I'll say in the time you've been here, you've seen a couple people go in, hang out in there a little while, and then leave. For the most part, empty-handed. Maybe there's been a couple minor transactions, it looks like.
Shall we gazebe?
Bo! That was...
You
Let's cut that
truly
out.
are, maybe. No.
We're keeping
That's
that and
telepathic.
and the silence while everyone gets it.
Not the silence. Oh, no.
It's part of our charm at this point.
Did Brix ask that telepathically? Or are you just talking to Kira?
Telepathically, if I'm, speaking in the brain.
Maybe you two scope it out, and then Alwyn and I could wander by if there's anything worth wandering. I don't want all four of us walking at the same time.
Sounds good to me. I would love to detect magic, if I could,
All right.
from the outside and see if I see anything.
Let me just see. Yeah, you definitely see some magic. Where are my things? It looks like from the outside, there's a bunch of magical stuff on Drund's person and on a couple of the guards. He has like a table of stuff out, and that it all looks technological in nature. None of it detects as magic.
Cool. But like nothing around like the doors or any sort of like eye purge illusion magic. I guess
Doesn't look like it, and it doesn't seem like the gazebo itself is enchanted or anything. There's no like guards and wards or anything going on.
that would suck to get lost in a gazebo because of guards and wards. Could happen to this party though.
The gazebo turns into the back rooms.
Rex fires an arrow at the gazebo.
Should we try our hand at going in big stuff? See what they have.
I think it'd be. Oh, I'm talking in my head. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
Khaled like filters out while you're heading in, exits the square in a hurry. So you head into this about 30-foot wide octagonal gazebo that seems to have a curtained off section at the back of it. You see the only person in here is the Baron, Mr. Kronseg Drund, who is a middle-aged Khaled man with a full beard, bushy eyebrows, and no hair at all in his head. Like he's shaved it. Maybe he was going bald and he didn't want to belabor the point. Do a perception check from Kira and Brixby.
Why, yes.
Ooh, let me do. Sorry, let me do this math.
No. Well, mine's really easy. I rolled a 3 for a 25, a 26 if it's high tech or mechanical.
It might just be high tech or mechanical.
I only rolled a 50.
Only a 50. Well, I think that you both clock that the single earring that the Baron is wearing looks like a memory facet.
Let's stealth that right off of him.
I'm gonna have to swipe that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Swipe
have
it.
to take it off of your face.
That's so subtle.
I was gonna say, didn't you say you always prepare a swipe?
I do. Literally, I prepare a swipe every time since the Choking Tower. It is such a cool spell, and it is so well suited for a caster like Brixby. I just don't know. I have to, I'm reading right now to make sure.
I was going to
that
say, is this like a
something-
Mistborn situation where if it's piercing their skin, you can't take it, or?
That's what I'm kind of trying to determine here, is that I'm like, let's see.
While you try to figure that out, you can see he's got some flare guns on the table, a stun baton, a couple panic suits, a bunch of batteries. Looks like a red E-pick. Another gravity clip. He's got a pair of mag boats there, some nanite canisters, a trauma pack plus, which is always nice. Time-worn looking emergency shelter. I'm not sure if you've seen those before. I couldn't remember, so I just said it.
We've seen, what was the thing that was like,
Wasn't it like a.
yeah, like the emergency orb thing?
it
That
the
was basically
James
like
Bond
Brixby's
jacket
force thing, but it's heck instead.
That's the panic suit, I think.
Yeah, panic suit.
Yo, that gravity clip would be pretty dope.
Could always use another one of those.
Do y'all want to come in? I don't think it would be bizarre for another 2 Shilpas to wander up. It looks like there's some actually interesting stuff in here, and keep an eye on his ear.
Wow, just sneaking in through the guards. I see how it is.
Oh, was that not the right door?
That's fine, whatever.
Is it this door?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's,
The emergency
like an CMD
shelter.
plus 5 to tumble
It-
through.
Oh, you don't make it, unfortunately. The emergency shelter is a 2-foot-long egg-shaped device that, when activated with the touch of a button as a standard action, it unfolds into a 10-foot radius hut capable of providing shelter for up to 6 medium creatures. it does take a minute to unfold, and then automatically uses spikes to anchor itself into ground cover of hardness 8 or less. It has windows and fluorescent lights in the side and can withstand winds of up to 120 miles per hour. So it's a very cool tent, is what I'm saying.
That is a cool tent.
It's a very cool tent.
So, I don't think by the nature of this spell that I would interpret it this way, but obviously I defer to you to perhaps be more generous, but I doubt it. It's really by flicking a finger in the appropriate direction and proclaiming ownership, you attempt to magically wrest an item from the target's grip and summon it to your hand to claim an object held by an opponent. So, does this qualify as held? I would assume that would be something that they were like wielding, but if you think I can try to steal it from his ear with an appropriate spell, I would maybe try.
I feel like it's not really held, since it's in his ear. Like, they would say worn item, and even then it's kind of an extreme of a worn item.
No, 100%. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I were to... Okay, yeah, I think that I have a plan when we leave. It might be stupid, but yeah, I have a plan when we leave. We should try to figure out what it is that he is auctioning off at this, if we can. I don't know if anyone's capable of buttering him up. Real sad that Asher isn't here to be like, Brixby, I think it would be so inappropriate to put butter on our new friend.
Aww.
Drund is humorlessly watching all of you as you sort of peruse his wares in silence, blissfully unaware of the psychic communication.
Gravity clip would be sick.
Yeah, not
Doesn't that
having...
basically just mean you don't have to cast lead blades?
Exactly. Yeah. Hello. Sorry. Hello. Had something in my throat. I was wondering, this gravity clip, how much it costs to purchase, my friend.
1 second, I have to just flip through my technology guide.
Of
as one
course.
does. For some reason, it's not highlighting things, which is really annoying.
He's saying all this to us in character while like flipping through a
Yeah, he's got like a
iPad.
brochure of all the Numerian technology that he's flipping through. That little guy I could let go for, let's call it 2,000 gold.
That sounds more than fair. And Tarazi will exchange 2,000 gold for a gravity clip.
All right. You've got a good eye, my friend.
Thank you.
Don't let the League catch you with that.
Oh, of course not.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
We heard that some of them may be even here tonight because of what you're selling, but not to enforce, but to buy. I'm not too forward. Should be proud of that.
He flashes a smile just briefly for that and says, I might have a little something set aside for them if they show their faces around here.
Alan, do you want to produce a bankroll and roll a diplomacy check at the same time and be like, we're cash money, young money?
Yeah, I think, Alwyn would maybe take out, like, I'm assuming we would have a good amount of gold on us just even from selling all of Hellbroth's stuff today, let alone the amount we already have, which I'm assuming most of that's probably all in Kira's bag, but probably keep some on him, so he might take out some gold pieces and say, we may not look good, but we have a good bit that we could spend.
He looks at the money and then he sort of like peeks around just to see if he sees anybody coming just yet. And he says, well, we're talking big time money for what I've got behind the curtain, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to reveal things just a little bit early. He shoves the curtain to the side, and there's a box behind it, and he goes in and picks up what looks like a oversized handgun with a little screen, like a little 3-ish inch screen on it, and then it ends in like a hefty looking syringe. And he says, fresh from the ruins. This is a real beaut. Never seen its like before.
Could we possibly roll our knowledge engineering on it, or is that contingent on us like touching and examining the thing?
I think you could roll a knowledge engineering seeing this.
Man, Foundry does hate me tonight. You were on
Truly.
it. It's only a 28
that
with a
roll.
3 off the die. I bet you.
Oh, I could
beat that
theoretically
roll.
beat that roll if I roll really good. Nope. It is a 5 on the die for a 16.
About a 33.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Neither Brixby nor Alwyn knows what this thing is, but Tarazi, I don't know, maybe he read an article in Popular Androphin magazine or something. He can identify this thing. It looks like a Mark II Cortex gun. A Cortex gun is an incredibly powerful device filled with nanites and programmed for physical and mental enhancement. The gun is shaped like a syringe, which we already went over. It can be programmed to enhance strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. You can program it with a linguistics check, provided you have the technologist's feat. The gun is used by placing the tip against the target's forehead and pulling the trigger as a full round action that provokes attacks of opportunity. This causes an adamantine needle to bore directly into the skull, which, of course, is not the most pleasant thing, but once this happens, if the gun was properly programmed to one of the 6 ability scores, the nanites swiftly disperse through the user's body, enhancing and augmenting that ability score over the course of several days. These augmentations are inherent bonuses and increase the ability score by 1 every 24 hours until the Cortex gun's maximum bonus is reached. With a Mark II, that is a +2 inherent bonus to 1 ability score. Of course, after a Cortex gun is used just once, the nanites are exhausted and it becomes useless.
And I'm assuming we can't just refill it with other nanite canisters we have, right?
Right.
Because they would have thought.
Right, it's a single-use gun.
I was going to say we can't just use all the ones from our hypo gun and just give all of us a +2 in all of our skills. That is still, though, really good because inherent bonus will stack with anything.
Totally.
And
But I bet you it's a bajillion dollars.
you'd have to handle it to
Yeah.
know what it's currently programmed for. And, of course, be able to speak Androphin.
And I'm assuming Tarazi mentally tells all of us what he figured out by looking at it, right?
Yep. He kind of peers at it and just makes a show of trying to examine it. And he steps a little bit closer, but not too close. But while he's peering at it, he's explaining everything that's going on telepathically.
And Drund totally hugs it close to himself as Tarazi gets closer and is sort of shielding it, like he's a little bit worried that you're going to try to snatch it from him.
Oh, just admiring the find. That is rare indeed.
Mentally, Brixby says, I'm happy at the very least, even if this may be outside of our reach, that it is not a more terrible weapon that could be used by the Technic-Lake.
Alwyn, with the mental info he got from Tarazi on the specs of this thing, is going to look at it and say, "Oh, is that all it is? And only a Mark II. Was hoping you had something really interesting." And he is going to roll a bluff check to attempt to try to make him think that we think what he has isn't as rare as he thinks it is.
Roll the big dog, the Baron.
It also looks like it's time-worn.
It's not
means-
time-worn. It's in perfect condition. You can see. Look at this.
Well,
it's immaculately clean.
Bring it up with my aided bluff check. I'm aiding Alwyn.
Yeah.
My God.
Yes, your aid was only one under my... Wow, you have a 25 to bluff?
Yeah, it's in my headband.
That is impressive.
I love it.
Oh, that's right.
And I have
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought my bluff was pretty good at a 14.
Yeah, your diplomacy is high. My bluff is high now. Because it
Yeah.
also keys off of my intelligence, because that's the trait I took.
Oh, that's right, instead of your charisma. Yes, I forgot about that.
Which is, yeah.
So that is a 31 altogether with his +2 from the bluff.
Drund looks down at the gun and he sort of looks a little bit nervous now, and he says, "Oh, well, big shots. I haven't seen all of you around here before, but you seem to be real connoisseurs of technology. Where do you all hail from?"
From kind of all over.
Where the tech takes us.
You wouldn't have heard of it, laddie. And that will be her contribution.
Most recently from Scrapwall is where I have come from. You've heard of that for sure.
And you mean
I
to
don't
tell
know
me
where
that that you've seen better than this in that pile of garbage?
No, you asked where I came from, not where I've seen better technology.
All right. Getting me on the
We've seen
semantics.
better tech in crashes that no one else... Oh, shoot. We've seen better tech in crashes that no one is aware of. You know something about that, don't you, Baron?
Do you need a lozenge?
Yes. Provided that it's free.
Yeah, that'll be on the house, and he'll toss you a hard candy because he's old enough that he's carrying them around.
Ooh, Werther's Originals mentholated. So it really opens you up to get the butterscotch flavor in a deep and terrible place in your body.
That's where the butterscotch flavor belongs.
I'll admit that those types of items can be impressive to some, but you know that it's something that once you use it once, you can't ever use it again, right?
Well,
There's only so much value you can get from something like that.
au contraire, the rarity is what makes it precious. Just think, thousands of years this thing has sat in the ground, waiting for you, or you, or you. And one of you can get those nanites in your body, and then it becomes a part of you, and you're the only one who ever gets to experience that from this gun. It's a magical thing. It's poetic in its own way.
Everything in here has been in the ground for thousands of years waiting for people to find it.
Yes,
That gun isn't any different.
but how many of them permanently change your life?
Depending on how you use them, any of them.
Sounds too rich for my blood. And Tarazi, who clearly doesn't know these people, will just kind of walk out and back into the market.
While Tarazi's on the way out, he sees a contingent of 5 people coming up the road, walking with some purpose on their way to the night market. They're led by a man with an eye patch. He looks like a sort of almost middle-aged, maybe a little bit before middle-aged human man, dressed, like a swashbuckling adventure type. He's got a rapier at his side, and behind him are 4 women, all of whom are dressed as similarly swashbuckling types, all with rapiers and garish hats and things, and they're all walking forward. It seems like the rest of the crowd is giving them a bit of a wide berth.
Brixby, not knowing that this is happening, but knowing that we're about to leave, he's going to try some. It says in his head, "You two should go. I'm going to try something on the way out."
I think I agree with that cat fellow. I was really hoping this would be something more interesting. And Alwyn will walk out through the north tent flap. Oh, wait, no, he won't because there's guys there. He'll walk back out the same tent flap he went in.
So on Alwyn's way out, he sees the guy on the way in. And Drund says, "Well, I could let it go for as low as 80,000 gold."
And he'll kind of laugh a little as he's going out, and he'll look at this gentleman and say, "Good luck. I doubt there's anything in there you want." And just keep walking.
Kira, our Mira, as she heads out, will say, "Don't take any wooden nickels," and just dip on out this way.
Do I have a sky medal?
Do you have a sky medal? Yes, it looks like you do.
All right, I would like to apply a sky medal. So I'm going to roll out as well, but I am going to attempt. This is the second time that the Brixby Watchers will have seen me do this. The first time was after getting shocked or steamed or something multiple times. But I have ranged ledger domain, which means I can do sleight of hand and disable device from up to 30 feet away. It is a DC 20 to remove a small object from somebody. There is a subsequent roll against whatever I roll for sleight of hand of perception from the person that it's being lifted from for them to see that I'm doing it. And my goal is to apply this sky metal towards this roll, do this at range, and attempt to remove his earring, because it is a small light object.
Sure is.
So, Desna, please roll with me on this one. Jesus Christ. So, I beat the DC, even with the penalty that I built into my roll, because the DC was 20, but he has to make an opposed perception roll to see if he beats 24 to know that I took it from him.
And I think that for a second it seems like Brixby's got it telekinetically sliding out of his ear, and for a second it looks like you're just gonna pop it free, but then maybe he turns his head while you're doing it and thus gets kind of poked in the thing as the thing pops out of his ear, and he just doesn't realize at first what's happening, and swings a hand up to the side of his head just to feel what changed, feels that there's no earring there, and this thing basically has flown across the room. He says, "What?
Yep.
What happened?" And Brixby's the only one left, of course. So he's, his eyes lock on him immediately, and he says, "What are you doing?"
Invisible thief, free action. I'm invisible. And now, Sam, because I'm invisible inside of there, did he start looking around, or did he keep looking at where I was?
I mean, I think
Did it look like he?
in an instant he was looking right at you, but and he yells
Well-
for the guards shortly thereafter. He says, Guards! Guards, I'm being robbed!
So Brixby is gonna basically wait for someone to be coming in and just leave the door at the same time. But while he's doing that, he would like to cast Swipe with his sneaky spells, because that's just a verbal and somatic component thing. So I'm going to make a CMB check, which is my caster level plus my int. So this is against the CMD. That is a 38.
38 does indeed beat his CMD.
So his gun is now in my hands.
Oh.
And I am invisible.
Oh.
And he's really yelling, and he's like, Stop him! He's robbing me! I think we're going to have
Alrighty.
to go into initiative as
Let's go into initiative.
Yeah.
this is about to get complicated.
No, there are so many people.
There are so many people here. Guess what?
God, I just thought of the best thing to do.
Guess what I did?
Did
I
you
pre-rolled
pre-roll?
initiative because there are
pre-rolled initiative?
750
Hey.
people on this map.
Sam, look at you. Okay, growth.
Proud of you.
If I beat at least a few of them.
I didn't put them in ahead of time because I didn't know how to do that though. So this is still gonna take an hour and a half.
It's okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
For anyone wondering at home, I wasn't going to steal the gun unless I messed up on the ranged ledger domain roll, because it seemed like it was something that we could maybe do at a different time to be really hilarious, to swipe it in the middle of the auction while invisible. But it just seemed like in for a penny, in for a pound at that point.
Amazing though. That natural 16 was as much or more than all your other rolls tonight combined.
All right, what did Tarazi get?
That is a dirty 20.
Okay, how about Kira?
That is a filthy 25.
Absolutely disgusting. How about Alwyn?
Alwyn got a 21.
Oh, you have to
Yeah.
add a modifier. I mean, a word
Brixby.
modifier.
Yeah.
I got a wicked
and,
daddy.
I have
11.
a +8 if it matters for eye patch guy.
Does it matter? It probably matters.
Yeah, it looks like we have the same inish.
Yeah, you're ahead of him. So,
Yay.
all right, we begin combat with one of these duelist ladies, and she is just going to wait for a second because she doesn't know what's going on. Which brings us to the amiable Kira. You are standing on the outside. Inside, you hear Drund yelling about being robbed. Some of the guards have gone inside, and then there's this guy and his friends who are kind of between you and Brixby.
Yeah, I don't know that Kira. Well, Kira does have an idea of what's going on, and that's that her friend is about to be in trouble.
We all have unlimited range psychic communication, so I'm assuming Brixby was giving a play by what he was doing.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, who looks like the biggest threat right now? Probably that person near Brixby. But I don't think I can charge in that direction. Can I charge?
I don't think that you can charge.
Up the stairs and through a door?
Yeah, up the stairs
Yeah.
through the door, kind of squeezing through people of ambiguous loyalty.
Right. Oh, the ambiguous loyalty people. Okay. All right. Okay, let's think about this. This is your time, is strategize. I am going to delay. Oh, wait.
All right.
Stop.
Sympath-
I'm not delaying. Wait, I'm reading
Nope.
my messages.
Undelay? Underlay!
Oh, I see. Just kidding. I am gonna go find my friends. I'm just gonna rage and move around this way with my double movement and stand next to my buddies over here. That's what I was doing before when I said that. And it wasn't anything to do with the urgent sound of Discord messages going on in the background that I just sort of learned how to ignore. That's my turn.
All right, sympathetic Alwyn. I'm sure you can sympathize with Drund and the fact that he was just robbed.
Alwyn is waiting to see what his team thinks. And we have unlimited psychic communication, so this isn't breaking the game. Because there's something I want to do that's really funny, but I don't know if it's going to ruin our plan. I feel like I can't not do that. So. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't know where Brix is, and I wouldn't know where Brix is because he's invisible. Let me see. I'm gonna draw a circle real quick. It's just for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to do a 15-foot burst circle and kind of move that around. I can't see Drund. You know what, this is probably going to ruin our plan, but he sees something that could be an opportunity to create a little bit more chaos on here so that maybe we can escape, and is just going to... Is there a role you can do to try to disguise when you're casting magic?
I think you need meta magic feats to be able to get away with it.
Yeah, I was
Otherwise
gonna
it's
say, I think there's a
obvious.
feat that does that, yeah.
Silent or still.
Yeah. Because what I really want to do for the folks at home, the group of swashbucklers that just showed up are basically completely blocking the entrance to the tent. And I could catch all 5 of them in a confusion and not hit anyone else. And basically just make them, like, start swinging wildly at everyone around them. But if I do that, they're going to know I cast it. So if any of them pass it, we're going to have them on our bad side along with Drummond. Or Drund. I keep wanting to say Drummond. So instead, I think I am just going to delay and hope that because I'm standing off to the side and haven't done or said anything, that they don't think I'm involved. So that will be Alwyn's turn.
That brings us to the man with the eye patch. And he sort of looks around. He's looking at Drund as he stands on the stairs of this gazebo, seemingly oblivious to the rest of the party on the outside, and he says, "Thief, you say? I hope they're not stealing any of my potential property." And he's going to do a hand signal to the people behind him, and then step into Let's roll just to see if he goes north or south. He's going to step into the gazebo and kind of circle around to the northern set of doors, just kind of putting himself between Drund and those doors and any potential thieves in those doors. And he says, how about we seal things up here? And the handsome duelist is going to reinsert herself into the turn order immediately after her friend, and she's going to go just double move into the gazebo over to the other door. And that brings us to the level-headed Tarazi.
Level-headed Tarazi is going to just sort of do his best to act puzzled and not oversell it, just kind of be like, oh, I wonder what all that commotion is. And he'll also delay.
All right, that brings us to another duelist, and she is going to head into the gazebo and position herself in front of the only door that hadn't had one member of her party in front of it. That brings us to one of these bodyguards of Drund, who's going to delay while he's kind of looking at Drund, wondering what to do. And that takes us to another duelist who is going to... Oops, I put two people on top of each other. Another duelist who is going to come in and, we're blocking doors. We're blocking doors with all the duelists in front of all the doors here. Just to make sure the place is nice and closed up. And then one of Drund's bodyguards is going to throw this recently blocked door open, and revealing more of the things of the city, but that's all he's going to do. Brixby, you're in a suddenly crowded room, but you are invisible.
Yep. So using now his, I'm going to say third round of Invisible Thief out of 10, he will also use his third use of Tricky Spells to cast Dimension Door, which is also just verbal and somatic. No, it's just verbal, my bad, not somatic. Before he does, he's going to tell his party, I'm going back to the front where we first entered. Going to stay invisible as long as I can. So then after saying that, he is going to Dimension Door all the way to where we entered the map. And he's going to say, I'm here, come meet me. You can try to do it casually. And that'll be his turn.
On hearing that, Tarazi will reinsert and see if anybody stops him as he just casually starts to move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60. Doesn't seem like anything happened, so he just saunters around.
I think Alwyn would then reinsert after that and also move 60 feet, kind of doing a wide berth around the tent, like maybe gawking in a little bit, looking like he's just somebody like wondering what's going on but isn't too interested in it. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
Yeah, nobody messes with you on your way down. And that'll bring us to the sleepy Baron Kronsig Drund, who is anything but sleepy as he draws a pistol off of his hip, and he says, Elias, there was a catfolk, I don't know who it was, there was an Asimar, he stole from me, he stole a Cortex gun, he is, I don't know, he disappeared, he could be anywhere, no one leaves, stop them all! He pretty much just wasted his turn with the yelling, but his experts, his bodyguards, are going to fan out into the market looking for people. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then he's going to roll a perception check to see if he can possibly locate Brixby, which is probably impossible. What is Brixby's...
Stealth
right
now?
Yeah.
You get a plus
He's not
40 while you're
invisible.
not moving, right?
Right.
Let me just triple check that. Yeah, so, okay. My stealth currently is a 70.
All right, you are not found. These guys.
It is the highest D20 roll I have ever rolled.
That might be the highest D20 roll I've ever seen. All these
Plus
bodyguards
53.
are just sort of fanning out, looking for Brixby, but they, mechanically speaking, cannot possibly find him. So we have chaos. Why does it think the selective and violent? No, it doesn't think they're the same. Okay. All right. Top of round 2. Kira, you're all alone. They've abandoned you, and you're so old.
I'm elderly. And thus saying, Kira will... Oops, sorry. Just clicked the wrong thing. Will nonchalantly move down to over near where those people she doesn't know are. Let's say right about here. And then she'll stop and pant hard because moving so fast and being so old is rough. Kira is fully 7 years younger than I am right now, so things are hard.
Just the oldest person ever. All right, that brings us to the eye-patched gentleman who was just referred to as Elias. He is going to just pop open a spell pouch real quick and take out a forked twig, snap it in his fingers, cast a spell, and then his eyes seem to fall at least in the right direction of Brixby. And he says, I believe your weapon is south. And he'll start making his way to the south. But he can only get through the gazebo before he's finished with his turn. Now his duelists are going to rush out in the same direction, just double moving their way down in the direction their boss just told them to go. Basically ignoring everyone because the only person they know for sure about is the invisible guy. All right, Brixby, you're up. There seems to be a guy looking at you, and people headed your way, but you are still invisible.
Brixby is about to do something that you've always joked about, Sam. Brixby is going to cast Greater Teleport and go to Torch. Just for now, you don't have to pull up anything else, but since it's just as good as me going to Mockery's cave, I can still communicate with them across any distance, and they're going to keep tracking this weapon no matter where it is until we have a plan. I'm going to get the heck out of town and not lead them to where I'm going. So yeah, this is a whole fight full of firsts. I've never teleported to another portion of the country in the middle of combat. So, but that is where I go. I am at the foundry.
All right, I assume you don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I mean, when I get there, I tell them.
All right, and I'm going
it's-
to add Connor to the tracker here because we don't have enough people on it.
Gang, I teleported to Torch to throw them off the scent. What I'll do is just meet up with y'all later. We'll use the gun and then drop it. And that's his turn.
All right, that brings us to Tarazi.
All right, Tarazi is like adjusting to the change of plan real quick and goes telepathically, give my best to Connor, and yeah, we'll see you in a week or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then the map, I know direction we came in, but is this part of a square that it looks like to the west we could leave
Yeah,
from a different part?
yeah, you could head out to the west if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm gonna not go to the south where everyone's marshaling and just make my way off the map.
All right, Alwyn.
Alwyn is going to see. I don't know if it would be suspicious if I went the same direction as Tarazi, because they mentioned that we were both people in the tent, even if they weren't sure if we were together. But I also don't want to go south where all these guys are. So I think he is going to step down a little bit more towards this little tent here, like kind of glance at it, like he's looking at their wares, and then start moving north again, and is going to hopefully, like by the end of the next turn, leave through the north thing, because I don't have enough movement to do it this turn. So that was 10 feet, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60. And that will be his turn.
All right, that brings us to Kronseg Drund. He's going to run out to the south here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. He is waving his gun in the air and shouting about thieves and kind of making a fool of himself, if you know that Brixby's not there to be chased. And his experts are still rushing to the south here, going off down the alleyway looking for people. They're all kind of going the same direction. Yeah, everybody's kind of, so they're abandoning the other directions, pushing by Kira, probably jostling her in her weakened state.
Elderly state.
Drops her complimentary AARP keychain.
Presses her life alert button.
All right. Kira, you're up. You just got absolutely assaulted by passing ruffians.
Yeah, jostled indeed.
You've
Kira
fallen and you can't get up.
Kira raises a fist in outrage. Oh, you ruffians! You'll keep me young. Just kidding, I'm not mad. But I am going to go a different direction because of how rude you were. And we'll also just real quietly make her way off the map over this direction.
And with everybody off the map but Alwyn right now, the one-eyed man will step off the podium and look at Drund and say, I think your little treasure is gone. I am afraid your thief was a bit too quick for you. And he will wave his hands around and say, ladies, gather up whatever he's got in there as payment for our wasted time, and let's get out of here. And then his duelists start heading back up to the gazebo, pushing by a stunned-looking Drund.
Stunned Drund is what they call him.
They do. They didn't used to call him Stunned Drund, but now they do.
One day they'll be like, Pappy, how'd you get the nickname Stunned Drund? And we'll be like, why are you Southern?
It was a dark day. I was robbed. All right, so it looks like you appear to be home free as an argument is breaking out between these duelists and Drund's bodyguards and Drund himself and the one-eyed man. Things are definitely tense over there, but you're all free to go if go you want to.
Go I want to.
And then Brixby teleports back this turn.
Yeah, right there, right into the center, drops invisibility.
6 seconds was long enough.
Yep. You know, presses the gun into his forehead and puts it on his charisma, bringing it up to a 10, which is really what everybody wants, and then rolls a flat check to have him not kill me. No, we're going to make probably Kira stronger. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, Brixby's just going to take his 6-second turn to, like drink some tea or something, hang out. Basically tell them, just let me know when you'll you're safe, perhaps we could meet at Jake's Cake Hovel.
Connor's like, this is very unorthodox. I know that you're here, Brixby, but I can't see you.
Oh yeah, this is so rude. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna go into a private room before dropping invisibility. You can come see me, but no one else can. It's a wardrobe malfunction. I ripped my pants.
This is deeply disturbing.
If I had invisibility, I would do that anytime I spilled something on my white shirt. It's like a
just go invisible rather than changing your shirt.
yeah. I don't know if my anxiety could really handle the ability to go invisible at the drop of doing some social impropriety.
All right. Well, if everyone is continuing to exit, we can drop out of combat. Does the party finishes fleeing
the one
from
combat?
What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I love that the one combat you actually rolled ahead for, we got out of it in 3 rounds without fighting
You
anyone.
monsters! I have so many HP totals. I don't need any of them. All right. Well, as you all flee from the night market in terror at the horrors of your crime, and a fight seems to break out behind you, I'm going to bed.
Good night, Sam.
Night, Sam.
Right, Sam.
I'd say good night, Stunned Drund.
The last time we
Hey, Marker Brawl.
embarrassed somebody this bad, Sam made us go on a whole side quest with Zills. So let's hope we're not going to do on
Fight a whole mess of guards.
Drun's Revenge. Book
I
5.5.
hope you're ready for Drun's clone army. Begun the Clone War has.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Pot Against the Machine is property of Network Against the Machine LLC, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are property of Paizo Publishing. See their website for more details. Theme Against the Machine was written and performed by our own Zach. See the show notes for additional music and sound licensing. If you enjoyed the show, we encourage you to leave us a review.
Audio recording.
Waveforms.
Barth McGarth.
Waveforms. Wave.
Double parked
forms.
waveforms.
I'll have you all
Some
know that I cut the portion
Some
of the PSA off where stay in school unless there's drugs in school, then drop out. I decided to take off the then drop out portion because, well, it's funny. We should really never advocate that even as a joke, probably.
Yeah, even as a
That's fair.
joke, true.
It is funny.
The teachers union would
So
be
that's
all
a
over
difficult
us.
one. What are you gonna do?
I think there might be drugs in school.
They're cheaper than eggs
nonsense.
these days. Hey,
Oh, we're getting topical.
Zach, just wondering, are you intending to not have your camera on? Because I
Oh,
respect
no.
it.
Sorry. I just assumed it naturally did its thing. There I am.
Just talking about
No, I was literally laughing
That's
in my head
that's
at
another
Sunny Side Up
thing
heroin
that Skype.
because you were talking about drugs being cheaper than eggs, not really thinking about.
Other
Seems like
day,
something
I
you could
was
order in the 1920s.
going through random YouTube videos, just clicking through, and I ended up the algorithm was giving me Whitest Kids You Know sketches, and one of them was the gallon of LSD in the park. Have you guys ever seen that one?
No.
Missed it.
What do you got there? Oh, it's a gallon of LSD. A whole gallon, huh? Amazing sketch. I'll have to put it in the thing.
Wow.
Ready to clap in the? It's funny. One of the guys in that sketch went on to direct the movie Barbarian, which you would never guess from watching that sketch. 1, 2, 3. Clap.
Good news, everyone. I am recording.
Good news.